I'm Dr. Lisa Oates, and I'm talking herbs with Dr. Sue Evans, the fabulous Australian herbalist. And today we're talking about a very kooky little kind of secondary tuber or root, or whatever you want. Harpagophytum procumbens. What can you tell us about devil's claw?
Okay, well, devil's claw, of course, is great for people with arthritis. So that's one of the indications for it. And a lot of people suffer from arthritis, and it can be quite stubborn. The pain can be quite debilitating. My experience in clinic is that either it works brilliantly or it doesn't work. So for those people for whom it works brilliantly, of course, you want to supply. And this plant is grown in South Africa. Now, a few years ago, there was quite an interesting thing that developed, I guess, 2 or 3 decades ago, when communities started to be able to make, when this started to become popular in the West, and communities in South Africa started to be able to make some money, became important to communities commercially. And then it was over harvested. And so the supply diminished. But by working with a couple of NGOs, what they found was that there's a primary root and then there's also these secondary tubers. And the secondary tubers, they found that the secondary tubers were able to be harvested, or they worked out ways to harvest the secondary tubers without disturbing the primary root, which meant that the plant was not destroyed. Because of course, whenever you're using the root, whenever the root is the part used, there is that concern that you're destroying the plant. Now, if the root is the part used and it's a plant like dandelion, where it regrows, very quickly, and there's it grows in a huge number of areas, then that's not a problem.
Everywhere, yeah.
But when the plant either takes quite a long time to grow, and actually I don't know how long this one takes to grow, but if it takes a long time to grow, or it's only found in a fairly restricted area, then it can be a real problem with the overharvesting can be a real problem. Now, this is, of course, much more of a problem with the root and also the bark, more of a problem than, say, the leaves or the flowers or the fruit. You can probably harvest those parts a lot more freely. But, when the root is the part used, you really do need to be careful. So it was really fantastic when they found ways that the plant could survive multiple harvests when it was the root that was being the part used, which meant that the community could continue to use that as a really important source of income.
That's amazing. And I think you made a really good point there too about the part used is particularly important when we're considering the sustainability of the herb. So especially things like roots and barks, as you mentioned.
That's right. Yes. And also the amount of time that it takes for the plant to come to maturity. So I think we're going to talk about comfrey soon. Well, again, you might use comfrey root, and hey, that grows so fast and so easily that really it's not an issue. Whereas if it was a root that took 8 or 20 years to
something like ginseng, it takes quite a long time to come.
What's that?
Something like ginseng that could take.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Or even golden seal. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sue. I look forward to hearing more.